So folks, let's gather around here. And if you sit down closer, I won't have to holler as much. Right. We have some nice seats in the orchestra here. Yeah, good. Okay, great. So to start, my name is Dave Brown, and I work for ValleyNet. ValleyNet is the design build operator for ECFiber, and I sort of organized this. The reason I did that is because I'm also a resident of South Woodstock, and I've been kind of looking out. This is sort of a pet project of mine for a few years. I'll get more into that. We also have, where'd she go? No, there she is. Simi Johnston, who is our hostess for today. She owns this wonderful new country store. I say new because it's been around here for a couple hundred years, but only recently revitalized and has that new modern appearance. It's great to have it. So what I'd like to talk about is how we got to be here today. So Irv explained what the ECFiber ValleyNet operation is. And by the way, Irv, I think we should identify some of those people in the back row also, the ones with the ECFiber shirts on, because they're the ones who are out in the field making connections for people, and they work really hard too. So it's a wonderful group of people. So anyway, roll back. You started in 2010. I mean, you started talking about 2010.
People started talking in 2010, and we had our first official meeting in the spring of 2011.
Right.
No, 8. 2008.
What happened?
We connected the first customer in August of 2011.
Right.
3 days before Hurricane Irene.
Right. But something significant happened in 2008. Does anybody remember what it was? The financial meltdown, right? Well, Stan, you remember that? Yeah. well, I started meeting with these folks in 2007, talking about what if we could create our own network, and Stan and others, as Irv described, had a great thing going until we woke up one morning and heard that Lehman Brothers had melted down, and there was no chance of borrowing any money, certainly for a sketchy outfit with a bunch of guys in plaid shirts and suspenders, right? So anyway, fast forward to a long time. As a resident of South Woodstock, I was kind of feeling a little left out because South Woodstock has been referred to as for many years as someplace south of Woodstock, right? It's down there somewhere, right? Well, and that was probably true back then. And I knew that if we didn't shake that reputation, we'd be spending a long time with orange juice cans and strings trying to communicate that way. So some of us got together, and I'm talking probably about 2010 now, about the time when other things were cranking up with regard to financing. And we went door to door in South Woodstock asking for loans of money to ECFiber. And the idea was it would be dedicated to developing a network in South Woodstock. It wouldn't be put in the general fund. And Stan and Irv went along with that. And we raised among the neighbors $147,000, which is not a huge amount of money, but when you're banging on doors, it feels pretty good, And so, as Irv described, later on when we got to be more successful as an organization, we were able to borrow some real money. That 147 was out there. And one of the things that was done was to repay out of the money that we got from our institutional investors some of the debt that we had incurred early on. All of it, yes. So all the 147 in South Woodstock specifically got paid back with interest and prepayment penalties, right? So that got paid back. And I said, but But no, I don't want the money. You know, we don't want the money. Our neighbors did this so South Woodstock would show up on the map. And so there was an assurance that, yeah, even though we were paid back, we'd still stay in the plan, which we appreciated. So fast forward to a number of years more, and the town of West Windsor, otherwise known as Brownsville, was part of the ECFiber group, and a significant connection was made there because, well, for a number of reasons I won't get into, but we looked at that and said, hey, if there was some way of extending the network in West Windsor up this way, that would be terrific. But way back when, there was little demand for such things. I mean, people hadn't heard about ECFiber, and they weren't too sure this internet thing was going to catch on. But as luck would have it, there were some local businesses running out of barns and basements and things like that. And I'm talking about some businesses with global reach now. And they got in touch with us and said, hey, how about coming our way? And we said, okay, great. And so we did a lot more scrambling. And a year or so later, ECFiber was extended up from West Windsor on Rush Meadow Road to Morgan Hill Road, and then ultimately to the store. We set this store as our target to say, okay, that's the done point. If we can get to the store, we'll declare victory and feel that all our effort was worth it. So fortunately, somewhere along the line, Simi stepped in and said, hey, guess what? We're going to redo the store so people are actually happy to be here. And so that started a conversation with Simi that, like, how would you like it if people stayed here for longer and visitors came and bought stuff? And she said, that sounds good. Isn't that what you said, Simi? Yeah, she liked that idea. More people coming and buying stuff. Yeah. So that was sort of the beginning of, hey, have you ever heard of an internet cafe? That rhymes, doesn't it? Anyway, we said, let's do an internet cafe here so people can come in here. I mean, I've been here on days when you can't find a seat. But until ECFiber came along, you know, there's no cell phone service around here. You're pretty much on your own, but no longer. So I don't know if any of you have tried it. I did it just before we started this afternoon, and I measured 270 megabits, not just down, but up also. So I happen to know that there are people in the neighborhood who have 1 and 2 megabit DSL connections who come down here to do their work, and particularly to upload files that they can't begin to upload from home. So there's a lot of stuff you can't do at home that you can now do at the South Woodstock Country Store, besides eating really delicious cookies. Right, so they're great. So that's kind of it in a nutshell as to how we got to here. I'm so grateful for everybody who's worked on this. Danielle and her crew, those guys with the shirts that are out there making connections for our customers. They work really hard. As Irv said, we had a wonderful celebration the other night of hitting over 2,500 paying customers. We've got great plans for the rest of the year, and we look forward to exceeding those. So anyway, good.